he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Hey guys, welcome to the think tank. Well, hello Carrie and hello Chopper. How are you guys doing this afternoon? Hubby took me out for lunch, moved some furniture around, and couldn't get my head off of Barry Morphew and these documents. I'm just blown away with everything that they've had and nothing. Like I said before, like I'm pretty much thinking there was like a method to their madness, I guess. Hoping Rams beat the Eagles. I couldn't even tell you what sport that is, friend. Franky is true crime all the time. 24/7. When I'm not streaming or doing a video, I'm researching. And if I'm not researching, then I'm on the couch looking over all the information that everybody else has put out. Then I go to sleep and then redo that. And it's beautiful out there today. Absolutely beautiful. So what is that, Carrie? I know the US is big on, what is it, football? Is it football? Do I have the right sport? So what I want to do before we start getting into these documents again is I thought it would be nice to take another look at I hope I'm saying her name right. Charlize? No, that's not right. Let me see here. She's got a really cool name. So, there we go. Charlesetta Lynn. I hope I'm saying this right. Grau? Female, white, Caucasian. So she is on NamUs, which is pretty awesome. I should probably pin this one. And I think what I'll do, if I can keep straight, is I will share this at the beginning of the streams. NFL. Okay. And which one do you like? What was that? I missed it. Hoping Rams beat the Eagles. Okay. Yeah, the US is big on football. Canada's more hockey, I guess. All right. So Charlesetta, the last date contacted was August 27th, 2022. So it has been over a year. She's missing from St. Petersburg, Florida. 19 years old when she went missing, so she'd be about 20 now. Middle name Lynn. And her nickname is Etta. She is about 5'4" and 100 pounds. So let's see what else have we got. St. Petersburg. Oh my God, my tongue. Let's do this one more time and see if I'm going to be able to speak it to English. So, St. Petersburg, Florida. Nice. Pinellas County. So she was reported missing under suspicious circumstances and allegedly seen in September. Where am I getting November? 2022. Throughout the investigation, there have been statements that Grau might have traveled to Tennessee with an unknown male. However, there is no evidence to support that statement. She previously resided in Illinois and has family in both Illinois and Indiana. She has been entered into the NCIC and the FCIC as a missing endangered purple alert. So they're saying that, let's see if they don't even get into it. Sounds like she might have a handicap. They said in one of the articles that she was about 7 years old based on that growth. So she has the ears pierced and a scar on her forehead. Is there no picture? They don't give a picture with this? Oh, isn't that something? So I do have, if you look in the, I'm just having a moment. If you look into the community tab, I do have her missing poster on there. Just so sad. Oh my word. Well, hello, James. How you doing, friend? How are you doing? So let's see here. Is there numbers to call? This is kind of interesting. So Detective Persaud at the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, 727-582-6483 or 911. What is a purple alert? I know, right? I'll give you their description. Okay. The Florida Purple Alert is used to assist in the location of missing adults suffering from a mental or cognitive disability that is not Alzheimer's and is not dementia, an intellectually disability or developmental combination of any of these whose disappearance poses a credible threat of immediate danger or seriously bodily harm. Purple alerts engage the public in the search for a missing person and provide a standardized and coordinated community response. So to contact them, this is, you probably aren't going to want that number. It's basically if you want to discuss this with the law enforcement. So probably not something we need. So yeah, that's a purple alert for you. I had no clue. I didn't know what it was either. It's just so many different colors. Why can't it just be, I don't know, Amber Alert for all the kids? I mean, yeah, I can see, maybe handicapped people having a separate one and elderly, but I don't see why they have to break down the Amber Alert into itty bitty micro dots of information that has to fit in. If you don't see this, then you don't get one. If you don't have this, you don't get one. If you don't this. So what happens is there's a bunch of kids out there missing that never got alerts because they didn't fit into those categories. It's just sad. It's just sad. So keep your eyes peeled for her. And again, that is in the community tab. So where do we want to go now? Back to Barry Morphew. Oh my word. This man. I mean, what do you think about him having it is a daft system, personally. I mean, what can I say? I'm Canadian, so I shouldn't even speak my mind. It doesn't apply to me, but it just blows me away that I mean, you don't even understand the alerts. We all have to go, what is this for? And what is that for? And what does this mean? And how come that one didn't get it? And how come that one over there didn't get it? It's really sad. So many people get missed. So Barry Morphew, we're back there, page 53 of 131 pages, guys. But isn't this interesting as to all of this information that's in there? I've gone through the beginning of this about 10 times, I'm sure. And then for whatever reason, my highlighting wasn't staying, so I'd go back. Let me go over here, friend. That's an immediate danger, missing person. People get confused by different alerts. They really do. It blows me away. Like, we shouldn't have to ask, any of us. Canadians with their system, or you guys with yours, or the US. If people don't understand what the alert is for, it means nothing. It means nothing. And that's not good, because there's a lot of people that need to be found and brought home to their families, in my opinion. Okay, Barry Morphew. So this part that we're starting, we just finished off with, who were we talking to? Morgan timeline to CCSO. So this was that Morgan Gentile. And now we are at John Schmitz. On May 16th, 2020, CBI agent Gonzalez contacted John Schmitz regarding a message he had left on Susan Morphew's tip line. Schmitz stated that he first met Barry in or about December of 2017 when they were working on the same construction project in Indianapolis. He said that he, Schmidt, is a contractor and Barry was landscaper assigned to the Main Street Shops project. All right. Schmitz stated that at some point during an altercation with Barry body bumped him. Ooh. Which prompted Schmitz to grab him in a headlock and pin him against the wall. He said he said that what he recalls the most during the altercation was the evil in Barry's eyes. Schmitz said that when he heard about Suzanne, he just had a feeling that it was not good, knowing what he does about Barry and his temperament, right? Holy. Schmitz stated that in May of 2018, he and Barry were charged with disorderly conduct by the Boone County Sheriff's Office for the indictment that occurred in December 2017. He said that the case had been continued until February of 2019 when all charges were dropped. So, again, we're looking at the paperwork and they're saying that this was not enough. They needed more. And at the time they were saying what they needed was Susan to be found. So now that she's found, are we going to see anything happen? It's going to be interesting. So the next person is Brad Oswald. On May 17th, 2020, CBI agent Kobach interviewed Brad Oswald, an Indiana resident and deputy sheriff in Hamilton County. Oswald stated that he has known Barry for 20 years and that they are good friends. Oswald came to Barry's house in 2019 to hunt in a preserve south of Salida. Oswald knew that Barry got into a fight with another guy in Indiana over the other party not wanting to move scaffolding on a construction site. Oswald described Barry as hard-headed and strong-willed. He added that he was afraid to say what I think, but I think Barry was so teed off, he accidentally, yeah. Oswald guessed that Barry and Suzanne were fighting, or she confronted him, and that caused him to lose his temper. Oswald said Barry had all night to plan how to get rid of her. This is the thing. And then, sadly, another however long that he's had time to get his poop in a group. So Barry was big time controlling over Suzanne, Oswald said. That Barry is very secretive and he would not talk to anyone if he did do something. Barry is an excellent skid loader operator and go do incredible things with a skid loader. Barry is an excellent skid loader operator and go do incredible things. Okay, with a skid loader. Oswald said that Barry could have easily buried Suzanne and that Barry is smart enough to turn off his phone or leave it at home. Oswald stated that Barry is never wrong. He kind of looks like that kind of person, doesn't he? He doesn't, yeah. Confrontational, spoiled, arrogant, egotistical. These are kind of the terms that are coming to mind for me. So let's see here. Oswald stated that Barry is never wrong. Let's see here. Oswald stated Barry was never wrong. He added that Barry is very prideful and would never confess to harming Suzanne. Oswald believes that Barry would have taken her away from the house if he harmed her like that because she would be too easy to find on the property. Well, absolutely. Yeah, right. More red flags everywhere. This guy's so sus. It's like, what? Oh, my word. Yeah, anger issues. Yeah, just unreal. Okay, so this is Kurt Sigler. On May 17th, 2020, CBI agent Kobach interviewed Kurt Sigler, who explained that he has known Barry since Kurt was 8 or 9 years old. Kurt stayed with Barry and Suzanne approximately 2 years ago in Colorado. During that stay, Suzanne told Kurt that Barry was cheating on her with a girl from Indiana. Kurt hunted with Barry near Bonavista that year, 2018. On May 11th, 2020, Marcy, Barry's sister, called Kurt and told him that Suzanne was missing, that Suzanne was riding her bike and a mountain lion got her. Because you know what? If they got caught by a cougar, well, mountain lion, same animal, couple different names, right? So that animal would leave DNA. They don't just like go, hey, jump on my back. We're going to go run through the forest. Like, come on. The next day, Kurt was in Colorado talking to Barry. Kurt stated that Suzanne was not interested in self-harming. She would not do that to the girls or to Barry. During the interview, Kurt made assertions that he did not think Barry was capable of doing this to Suzanne. Let's make that bigger for you. My word. After speaking with Kurt on audio recording, Agent Kobach walked out of the parking lot with him. Kurt turned and said, I think he did this to her. Kurt further stated Barry's timeline does not make sense. The bike was thrown down the embankment. The stuff found along the road was placed, and it was like thrown out when Barry was driving back. Curtis also said if anyone found out Barry's infidelity, they would all turn on him. Barry's also burnt many bridges in Indiana, referring to business deals. So this is Jazzy saying, "Give me a cookie and say hi to James. He buys me cookies." That's why you got so many treats, Sir James. So, well, hello, Dandy. Yeah, that's the thing. You're right. That is rage. Top doggo. Is it James says you're top doggo? She thinks so. Okay. Hey, Mel. Good to see you, friend. There's supposed to be some DNA from an unknown person. Yes, which was found on her bike. The cops managed to trace that person. Well, there's been more than one. They have a really bizarre way of explaining this DNA. They say basically that they're not able to confirm who's do it. Oh my God, I'm stumbling because this is hard to explain. They have DNA. Allegedly, it was traced to an SO, but they're calling it basically, oh, how did they put that? They're basically saying they can't put it to anyone. It doesn't fit because they're saying the DNA that they found there, the guy was not even in the same state, if ever he was in the same state. So I'm kind of wondering, because it's a mystery as to why that DNA is in there, because it could not be that guy. And they're just calling it some random name saying, yeah, I don't know. Mexi would be able to explain that probably a hell of a lot better than me, because when it gets to DNA, that does sound weird, right, James? It does. It's very, very sus. But maybe if I run into anything that kind of explains what they were talking about, I'll go through it. I'll figure out a way to like go through it with you guys, because it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. They're just saying that this person's DNA was there, but that person had no way of ever being anywhere near where she was. So I believe this was like on the bike. So I'm wondering, possibly, did he work for a place that did parts? Did he work for a place that did shipping of this stuff? Anything. I don't know where Melvin is. I just don't know. I don't think I've even talked to Melvin today. Yeah, and I don't even, they're not even, I don't know. It's sus. I don't understand DNA well enough to explain what it is, but they're just saying basically that it went to this particular person, and that particular person is an SO, but that SO was not even close to that area. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. That's a really good question. Yeah, there was 4 persons. So there was, on some of them, there was like Barry, a cop, and Suzanne. And then another one's going to be a different cop and another cop and Suzanne. So they were able to get it all except for this one. And the one is the one that I guess allegedly goes to this SO, where this SO has never been to this area ever and was not in that area when this went on. And they said the alibi is like thick, 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 thick. So how does that happen? I don't know. There was, four different on the bike and 4 different on the helmet. And then they looked at the pedal and they looked at the seat. So, yeah. Yeah, and it could be anything. Yeah, Barry was eliminated from some. Absolutely. Yep, and that's where it was like 2 cops and her. Could it possibly have been left from the person who actually assembled the bike before Suzanne purchased it? You see, that's kind of what I'm wondering too. If it had something to do with it being built, shipped, possibly, those type of things. Well, good day, Perry. Good to see you, friend. If the defense could bring that DNA into evidence and say it's an SO DNA, even if he was out of state, it's going to raise eyebrows from the jury. That's it. And what I was watching was talking about that possibility. I get watching this stuff and I bounce around and I should pay more attention to who I'm watching, but I get so absorbed in the information that, yeah, that I'm not on the ball there. So Gene Moorman interview. So Gene Moorman is Suzanne's dad. So on May 18th, 2020, Gene Moorman, Suzanne's father, was interviewed in Mears, Michigan by FBI agent Lynn Novak. Moorman said that the first time he heard from Barry following Suzanne's disappearance was on Saturday, May 16th, 2020. What? Barry called and sounded distraught, saying that he felt so badly, and the authorities were trying to pin Suzanne's passing on him. Barry said he was interrogated for 5 hours. Mormon said that he did not find it odd, however, that Barry almost waited a week after Suzanne's disappearance because Barry was very emotional and going through a lot. Yeah. It's totally explainable, right? Not. Hello, Shauna. Good to see you, friend. Hello, hello. So Merman found it odd, though, that neither of his granddaughters or Barry were home on Mother's Day. Barry seldom worked on Sunday, and it was unusual that he would choose to work on a Sunday of Mother's Day. This is the thing. Barry seldom worked on Sundays. Huh. So Suzanne never told Moorman that she and Barry were having marital problems. Moorman believed that Suzanne would have confided in her older sister, Melinda, who lived in Tennessee. Barry and Suzanne went through stressful times when they had a hard time selling their home in Indiana and struggled to pay for their mortgage in Indiana and Colorado. Fair. A little more than a year ago, Moorman loaned Barry and Suzanne $100,000. Barry paid Moorman back with a personal check on quarterly basis and paid off the loan entirely approximately 3 months ago. The last time Moorman saw Suzanne was approximately 2 years ago. She met him in Florida for a vacation. Suzanne was by herself and was supposed to stay with the Moormans for 7 days, but abruptly left after 3 days to meet her husband on the West Coast. He was upset of her leaving early, however, did not tell her how he felt. Gene Moorman passed away on November 10th, 2020. Oh my God. Andrew Moorman on May 18th, 2020, CBI agent Kobach interviewed Andrew Mormon, brother of Suzanne. Andrew stated in Indiana a few years ago, Suzanne found a female's bracelet in Barry's truck and confronted him about having an affair. Barry's sister Marcy ended up claiming the bracelet belonged to her. Barry has exceptional hunting skills. Barry told Andrew that his surveillance system in his home has been down for months. Andrew made the statement, "Don't get between Barry and his money." Huh. Following Suzanne's disappearance, Barry told Andrew that Suzanne crashed her bike or was forced off the road. Barry also said he thought a mountain lion, a mountain lion dragged her off. Barry used a mountain lion idea for 2 to 3 days before the theory changed to someone taking Suzanne, and Barry would not get past the idea that Suzanne was being SA'd. Yeah. Andrew said Barry is a very good skid loader operator, and he could have placed her in a tarp and put her anywhere on his way to Denver. Barry knows how to cover scent by using skunk spray. What? And is an exceptional hunter. Andrew did not know Suzanne to have ever been an early riser. Dandy, hello. A gang of chipmunks got her. So Aaron Blondeau, on May 20th, 2020, your affiant interviewed Aaron Blondeau. Blondeau is an IT person for the Grace Church in Salida, Colorado. On Sunday morning, May 10, 2020, the church broadcasted the service live on YouTube. Blondeau is responsible for getting the broadcast set up on the church end and broadcasting it to YouTube. Blondeau advised he could not see who logged into the broadcast. Okay. So really Barry has said this is what she did, but basically what they're doing here is saying, well, we don't know who watched it. So anyone could say whatever. Yeah, lions, tigers, bears, oh my. So Tim, okay, is that KLCO? Okay, I'm just going to say Tim K. I don't know how would you pronounce that one, guys? Sorry, Tim. So on July 27th, 2020, S.A. Gruesome. Gruesome. Oh, my word, guys. Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, liquids down. So July 27th, 2020, S.A. Gruesome interviewed Tim K. at his place of business, 58 Jones Avenue, Salida, Colorado. K stated that Dan Thomas, a developer friend of his, told him in September of 2019 that if K was looking to sell his backhoe attachment for a skid steer, Barry Morphew might buy it. Thomas gave K the cell phone number for Barry, and Kay traded text with Barry around September and October 2019. Barry told Kay he was interested in buying the backhoe attachment for the asking price of $5,000, but Barry never met Kay to complete the deal. He's just all sorts of organized, this guy. He's just got it together. Yeah, chipmunk mugging Barry for his granola bars. Okay, here we go. So Timothy Agnew, a.k.a. CBD Tim. As cited previously, Barry told CBI on June 17th and June 25th that Tim from Westcliff might be responsible for Suzanne's disappearance. So, okay, chipmunks, bears, cougar, out. It's now CBD Tim. Like this man, I tell you what. So, investigators identified Tim as Timothy Agnew. Home address, bloody blah, 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 Cliff, Colorado. Urothand and S.A. Grusing contacted Agnew on July 28th, 2020, in the presence of his wife, Megan Agnew. The Agnews were not that the purpose of the interview was centered around the allegations made by Barry that Timothy was a substance dealer who should be considered a suspect in the disappearance and passing of Susan. So how is he knowing only a few months after this that she had passed? He should be considered a suspect in the disappearance and passing of Suzanne. So he's already made it up in his mind. And, there's no red flag there. Timothy advised that he met Suzanne at the farmer's market in Salida in 2018. Suzanne told him about her battle with cancer. She said that she had had lymphoma in her 20s and the cancer was coming back. She was looking for treatment that was non-traditional to buy some time because she was feeling run down. The Agnews provided for purchase orders from Barry and Suzanne from October 2018 through April 2020 for hemp oil. Oh, that's pretty serious, hard stuff. Timothy only spoke to Barry once, when Barry called him in the summer of 2019 and said that Suzanne's lymphoma was back and she needed more oil. Suzanne interacted with Timothy for about 5 or 6 times and never gave any indication that she was having to be secretive about taking the oil around Barry, or Barry disapproved of her taking the oil. There's no THC in this stuff. I mean, but it's magic if you have aches and pains, you can't sleep, all that stuff. No THC. Okay. Carrie Woodell. On January 11th, 2021, S.A. Harris and S.A. Grusing interviewed Carrie Woodall in Salida, Colorado. Woodall met Suzanne at the Exerflex gym. Whoa, someone needs a muffler. Exerflex gym in Salida in the fall of 2018. As they worked out during the same time in the afternoon, Suzanne's workouts were very similar to Woodell's, and Woodell asked her if she was prepared for a competition. Woodell began giving massages to Suzanne in March 2019 and continued through September 2019. During the treatment, Suzanne told Woodell that throughout her marriage, including Indiana, she raised her girls by herself. She and Barry moved to Colorado to slow down, but Barry started working for DSI and was trying to start his own business. Woodell estimated that Suzanne said Barry traveled to Denver once every week or two in 2019. Let's go ahead and check on that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, Dandy. I looked earlier. Got it. Got it, friend. All righty. Water buffalo. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I can't believe how quickly he began selling things. It would be extremely difficult, even if necessary, to do that. Yeah, I was quite shocked when I started learning that she didn't even have a chance of being found yet, and he was getting rid of her stuff. That kind of reminds me of Scott Peterson and him selling off all the stuff when Lacey went missing. That's what it makes me think of. Just brutal. Okay. So, Woodell has told agents that she felt guilty for not accepting Suzanne's invitation in November of 2019 to spend more time together. Suzanne approached Woodell in the gym and asked Carrie, "Can we start going out?" She told Woodell she needed to start doing things with a friend. Woodell believes that Suzanne was going to speak with her about Barry's failed attempts a few days earlier to ask Woodall to start giving him massages. Ew. Ew. Woodall has been doing massages for men and women for about 17 years. Oh, wow. Have you ever heard of this person? Isn't that interesting? So, Woodall has been doing massages for men and women for about 17 years. She has worked on numerous wealthy white men who seem like they have a full life but are missing something. These men, like Barry, are looking to fill that void through church, money, cars, sex, and other means, and cannot seem to find what they are looking for. Woodall met Barry in September 2019 during her morning workouts at the gym. She did not know that Barry was married to Suzanne until she saw him sign on the register one morning. When she saw his name, everything that Suzanne told Woodall about the problems with her husband clicked. In Woodall's mind, Barry was alone during his morning workouts. He watched Woodall in the gym to the point of making her uncomfortable. She perceived him as a predator with a huge ego. Yeah, just the best kind, right? It's amazing how you can pick up that energy. Barry's truck caught her attention because of its size, noise, and the firefighter plates. Barry was not always working as hard as Suzanne stated because he was in the gym about 4 times a week. Plus, he was working out with that guy, remember? Dandy. Okay. Make me snort. Oh my goodness. Okay. Once Woodell was working out in the afternoon and she saw Barry walk up to the second floor of the gym. He looked all around the gym and he saw Woodell. After a while, she walked up to the second floor and he said, "Hi, I'm Barry Morphew. Have a good workout." Woodell thought her "Dead Man No Tell No Tales" t-shirt might have attracted him. She told Barry, "Your wife is a wonderful person." While Waddell had a friend, Connie, who is an active member of Grace Church, were eating in the corner patio area of the Boathouse restaurant on November 2019. Barry and redacted Morphew sat down a few tables older. He glanced over at Woodall multiple times, making her uncomfortable. Barry approached her, stretched his back, and said words to the effect of, "I'm so happy to see you out tonight. My back is hurting. I'd like to schedule an appointment." Woodall did not want to give Barry her phone number or give him a massage. So she told him that she did not have her phone with her and he should schedule through his wife. Woodall told agents that she wondered how many other women Barry pursued who did not steer him to talk with his wife. Like, just the kind of human you like to know. Everybody wants to meet one of them. Yeah, how many people has he made uncomfortable? Oh my God, guys. Like, that's a very good question. Very good question. It's like, he gives me the creeps, and I've never been even around that man. But all I had to do is watch that one interview where he's, "Oh, Suzanne, if you were, I don't know, anyone who hears this, we'll do anything to have you back." After watching that, it was like, man, I don't even like you. They seem to support Barry, but who knows? That is the thing. That is the thing. The children, I don't think you want to, personal opinion, I don't think that a kid could handle hearing that from their papa, that this is what he done and did. It's, yeah, that's the thing. We have instincts for a reason. You just have to trust in it. Yeah. Is it? I bet it is. Like, it's just, it makes you, he's creepy. He's just creepy. Apparently knows nothing of the TC community. We're knowledgeable and watching, right? Yeah, this guy's just like a peach, just a peach. And you can feel it even walking past a person that is like that. Just walking past, you can feel that energy. It's like, oh my God, go over there. I'm crossing the street now. So Laura and Andrew Richardson. Well, hello, VarQ. Good to see you, friend. On December 1st, 2020, S.A. Grusing and S.A. Harris interviewed Laura and Andrew Richardson at their Salida residence. Laura met Suzanne through church in 2018 and heard Suzanne was battling cancer. She approached Suzanne and offered to be her friend since Suzanne was new to Colorado, away from her family and friends. Laura went to at least 3 cancer treatments with Suzanne. As Laura and Suzanne got to know each other, Suzanne shared that Barry chose to go to work over going with her to cancer treatments. As Suzanne began to feel better, she was more fiery, and she traveled out of state without Barry to see her father. When the Richardsons went to the Morphew house for the second dinner, Barry announced that, that redacted, so probably a daughter, was a virgin. And there are no other virgins at Western State. Oh, yeah, he's talking about a daughter. Brutal. Oh, good night, James. Thank you. Thank you. Good seeing you as usual. Catch up with you tomorrow, I'm sure. Have a great night, friend. So there he's having dinner, and Barry's telling them that her child has never had sex. Just what? As Susan began to feel better, she got more fiery. The statement was odd to Andrew and Laura for multiple reasons and seemed more like a declaration than a conversation. That's just disgusting, like gross. What would make you? On May 1st, 2020, Laura and Susie celebrated Suzanne's birthday at Laura's house. Suzanne was very healthy and positive as she showed them her mountain bike and talked about Redacted receiving an award at school. She spoke about doing the financial books for Barry and how that would serve as a bridge between them. Suzanne also started training online to become a certified as an athletic trainer. She was coming out of cancer treatments and felt like she had a second chance at life. Andrew said he and Laura responded to the scene where Suzanne's bike was recovered on May 10th. After Redacted called Laura at about 9 p.m., Andrew and Laura stood with Barry on the road for hours while law enforcement, along with search and rescue, searched for Suzanne. Andrew told agents that Barry was silent for most of their time on the road, regardless of the suggestions Andrew made. Andrew told Barry they should explore the tracks around for a bike or go down to the area. We should explore the tracks around the bike or go down to the area where Suzanne's bike was recovered to see if they could see anything. Andrew wanted to search, look around, and ask questions to figure out what happened to Suzanne. Barry was not interested. Damn. Barry looked at Andrew and said, "You're a really good man." Andrew did not know why Barry said that in context of their situation. Andrew described Barry's expression as stone-faced. Through the evening, Andrew said the bike positioning in relation to the road made no sense for an accident to have occurred because the rider would have needed to make a 90-degree turn from the road to go down the hill. Barry told Andrew he made the trip from Denver to Salida in an hour and 15 minutes, or some similar ridiculous amount of time, once he thought Suzanne was missing. Andrew did not understand why Barry waited that long until that night to come back if he thought Suzanne was on a bike ride that morning. Right? Whoa. Andrew helped with the searches for Suzanne, which Andrew described as disorganized. Barry and his friend George searched by themselves. Barry was gone all day, every day, and left his girls at the house. Barry tracked a mountain lion for an entire day across Highway 50, but he did not find anything. I really don't think you tracked mountain lion tracks, Barry. I just don't. Yeah. Amazing. Like the things he expects us to believe. So Barry had been complaining about law enforcement's focus solely on him. Andrew went to speak with a friend of his who lives nearby and who is a defense attorney. The attorney listened to Andrew, and he gave Andrew his business card to give to Barry. He also told Andrew that Barry needed to take a polygraph test so that law enforcement could focus somewhere else. Andrew took the card, gave it to Barry, explaining his conversation with the attorney. Barry was very excited to get the card and grateful for Andrew's referral. However, when Andrew told Barry the attorney recommended he take a polygraph, Barry looked at Andrew and said, "I don't think I'd pass a polygraph." What? Andrew waited in uncomfortable silence for a few moments to allow Barry to qualify his statement. Andrew told agents he got chills from Barry's response and thought Barry's reaction was very strange. When Barry said nothing else, Andrew awkwardly told him he had to go, and he left. Wow. Andrew waited until present date to tell law enforcement about the encounter with Barry because he did not know if it meant anything to the investigation. Barry has since told Andrew that he spoke with the attorney a few times, and the attorney has been helpful. On December 8th, 2020, Laura said that Barry called her on December 4th, 2020, at 10:30 a.m., and they spoke for 10 minutes. Barry said his girls were angry with Sheila having a hard time with her and do not want to talk to her. Barry told Laura he does not know why Sheila is doing this. He said words to the effect of Suzanne's not gone. She's coming back. Barry thus did not know why Sheila felt like she needed to remember Suzanne or grieve. Laura was shocked by these words, but did not ask Barry why he thought Suzanne is alive. Unreal. Oh, Shauna, thank you. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Welcome, sunshine. How nice of you. So, Matt Craig. John Matthew Matt Craig of Noblesville, Indiana, was interviewed by S.A. Grusing and S.A. Harris. Matt explained that Barry sold BLM Landscaping Services LLC and Sunset Tree Farm to Matt, his brother Dan Craig, and Hank King. Matt's father signed as guarantor for the purchase of the business, which occurred in January 12, 2018, when they paid $189,000. Barry told Matt that he was making $200,000 to $300,000 per year. The client list on his phone alone was worth the investment. After paying the initial $189,000, Matt and the others agreed to pay Barry $50,000 per year over the next 4 years, due on August 1st of each year. They paid $50,000 to Barry in August 2019 and $50,000 in August of 2020. Matt told agents that Barry's business was worth $20,000 instead of the $389,000 that they paid. Barry used his relationships through the church and his supposed good reputation to fool Matt. This guy. To fool Matt and his family into buying a worthless business. Matt's father refused to allow Matt and the others to hire in an attorney to sue Barry because he did not believe in lawsuits. His father felt it was his fault for agreeing to the guarantor, and he planned to pay off the debt. Barry sold his BLM business once before to Seth Pickett and Kyle Combray. Though he called the business BLM Landscaping LLC and left out services from the business name, Matt found out after he bought the business from Barry that Pickett and Combray also figured out BLM was worthless, and they refused to pay him the rest of the money they supposedly owed Barry in 2015 and 2016. Matt said he would have stopped paying also, except his father was the guarantor. So, holy, this guy's like teed off a lot of people. Unreal. Not as popular as he likes to make himself sound. Unreal. Yeah, mountain lions. Let's see here. That was one ambitious mountain lion, 50 miles and breeder. Yeah, just unreal. Oh my goodness. I've never seen mountain lions or bobcats midday. I have, sadly. I have. Mm. Didn't they come out more in the night and wee hours? Typically, they do. Typically, they do. I've seen both, and bears. Beautiful critters, but deserve respect. Absolutely. We have a lot of brown, black, all the bears. We've also got grizzly. But seeing grizzly is very rare. But the difference in attitude, wow, you wouldn't believe it. You don't want to actually, Banff National Park is, I don't know if any of you have ever heard of it, but it's very big as far as holidays go. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot in the Rockies. It's just gorgeous. Well, 2 people were out there, and their dog, well experienced in the bush. Well, a few days ago, they ran into a grizzly. That grizzly unalived her, unalived her husband, and that grizzly also unalived their dog. They're not something to mess with. Brown, black, I mean, I've literally chased them around trees. But no, you do not want a grizzly bear to come upon you. If a mountain lion would attack someone, they would not bury. That's right. You know what they do is they get it and they drag you up a tree. That's what they do. Just finished watching our King's Guards and Hoses one. I'm not sure. Well, hello, Mom. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, friend. Do you own a bobcat? Like, not like a real one, do you? Like with a heartbeat? Or are you talking about a little machine? No, they will hide their food. They don't bury them. They drag it up a tree typically. Yeah, mountain lions, you don't get away from those guys. They chase you right up to the top and drag you back down, unless they're trying to just hide you because you're already gone and they don't want anyone else to eat on you, just them. Oh, that is really cool. That is very, very cool. Oh, yeah, bobcats are cranky. Yeah, they're beautiful animals. Beautiful animals. Well, hello, Mel. Well, thank you, friend. We're happy to have you here, let me tell you. Those damn mountain lions drive full-size pickups and are mind-blowing. They're beautiful, beautiful animals. Oh, this is the thing. It's pretty hard to get the chipmunks out of a person's head. Like, what was he thinking? Oh, did you, Mel? Yeah, and then we just had one in Banff. 2 of them, 2 and their dog. It's sad. So, yeah, she didn't get taken by no cat. She didn't get taken by no bear. That is so cool. Did they? I was wondering. My husband and I were talking about that today, and I didn't know for sure if they had used bear spray. The thing is when they stand up, they're 9 feet tall. So if they're standing up, your bear spray, you're going to blind yourself before you blind them. And you have to make sure the wind's in the right direction, all of that stuff. Oh, is that right? Yeah. Someone down in Durango by a bear and ended this spring, I think, and one in Arizona mauled. Yeah. Hey, I let chipmunks try to run up my leg, scared me to death. I was yelling. Rabies. No, this was a couple years ago, right in front of her husband and children. Oh my God. And there's those. Yeah. Like, isn't that something? Because I've heard of that. We have black bears around the farm. Don't mess with them. Grizzlies are even bigger. Oh, that's it. That's it. I have walked into my fair share of black bears. I've literally chased them away from her, like, get the hell away. But it wasn't maybe a year old, maybe 2. Wasn't overly big. Well, they don't get big anyways, but usually full grown, they're about 300 pounds. I'd say this one was probably more like 200. But he was a garbage bear. He would come up and he'd get into their diapers and stuff. So I grabbed a couple of pots, or I can't remember, a pot and a spoon or something, and I did. I just and I went out with this, clanging it together. Oh my God, it was the funniest thing watching it go down the road. Yeah, raccoons are mean. When they're really big, bear spray makes them angry. That's what I'm wondering about grizzlies. Especially the ones that are used to people. They'll come up to you and want food. They will. That's the thing. People need to not feed those animals. I'm terrified of any big prey animal. Wolves are being introduced soon. Oh, I love wolves. If there's not if it's got a heartbeat, I love it. I'm sorry. I'm not big on bugs. I could do without those. But I'm big into the animals, as you can tell by the sugar gliders and chinchillas and dogs and ferrets and snake. And we also have cougars. DNR, let them loose. They will. That's the thing. They will. They'll take. Love wolves. I'd like to pay one. Coyotes are cute. They are, unless they're going under your car and grabbing your cat. I don't like that. But they are cute. Okay, let's get back into this paperwork here, guys. We're going to be looking at this for the next year, I swear. Alrighty. So Ted Turner, oh, there's a name I've heard before. On October 27th, 2020, S.A. Grusing and S.A. Harris interviewed Ted Turner in Noblesville, Indiana. Turner explained he and Barry raised deer for hunting purposes, selling the deer for $5,000 to $7,000 so hunters could release the deer and hunt them for their horns. He added the deer normally released in acres that are fenced, and thus the chance to shoot the deer is guaranteed. Oh, that's fun. What the hell is wrong with people? What? Sometimes the people who bought the deer would act as guides and charge wealthy people who were willing to pay $15,000 to $20,000 to hunt a deer and get a guaranteed set of horns. What the hell, guys? Now, oh my God. How can that even be legal? Oh my word. Yes, happy Thanksgiving to all y'all Canadians. So when agents asked Turner how those who purchased the deer transported them off his property, he stated they brought a trailer, usually for a horse. The purchaser most often used a tranquilizer dart on the deer because herding them into a trailer is difficult. Purchasers like Barry had their own tranquilizer darts and guns for such purposes. Did you hear that sound, guys? That's I don't know, it might have been too far in the distance. That's chinchilla. They make a really cool sound. George Wimmer. On February 6, 2020, S.A. Harris and S.A. Grusing interviewed George Wimmer by phone. Wimmer explained that he first met Barry in 1998 or 1999 when he went to work for Barry at Salisbury Brothers. Barry was the foreman and Wimmer was a manager. Following those years, Wimmer went to work for a friend for a year and a half, then came back around 2004, and Barry was starting his own business. Wimmer did not have much further contact with Barry. Wimmer lost contact with Barry and found out years later he was selling his business to a young man named Kyle and another guy. Wimmer told Kyle to be careful because he had seen a lot of Barry's deals go south. Kyle and his friend became defensive. Wimmer told them, "You're dealing with the devil." Whoa. Following this conversation, Barry blew up Wimmer's telephone. Wimmer eventually answered, and Barry vented at him for warning the boys. Wimmer described Barry as shady, not on the straight and narrow, doing a lot of deals under the table, working in cash, and hiring a lot of illegals. Barry told people that his dad's dying affected him so badly that he could not run his own business. Barry was not planting trees at the proper depth, either too shallow or too deep. He knew that he had to adjust the trees or they would die. But he was too focused on making money and moving on to the next job. Barry planted rows of trees incorrectly and hurriedly they died. Oh my God. This guy's just horrible. There's really nothing admirable about this guy at all. When Wimmer learned Suzanne was missing, he Googled Barry and read all about what was going on with her disappearance. Wimmer was intrigued by it and saw the Tyson Draper video. After Wimmer watched it, he concluded, Barry is guilty for sure. I mean, we don't even have to know this guy, and he's like guilty as sin, in my personal opinion. Wimmer said Barry thinks he is a real good liar, and he's not. Barry's the kind of person that will just stand there and tell you something you know damn well is not true. Wimmer would often just listen and not contradict because he just did not want the conflict with Barry. Wimmer sent Barry a series of texts on September 23rd, 2020, accusing Barry of deleting Suzanne and telling Barry he could rot in hell. Whoa. Holly Wilson. From October 2020 through December 2020, Holly Wilson recorded her phone and in-person conversations with Barry, providing those recordings to S.A. Grusing. Holly and her husband, Jeff Wilson, knew Barry and Suzanne well through their church in Indiana. Not India, Indiana. During these recordings, Barry told Holly words to the effect, you are Susan to me. Barry told Holly words to the effect, you are Susan to me. He held her hand while in the car, gave her a kiss goodnight, told her Suzanne would approve of whatever would happen in their relationship, and twice touched Holly's breast, pretending like the touches were accidents when her husband's head was turned away or not looking. This guy is such a pig. Like, he's just a pig. Barry told Holly that he had an ex-FBI guy working for him and sometimes saying that he had a PI working for him who charged him with over $50,000. Whoa, charged him over $50,000. Once Barry told Holly and Jeff that he may have found where someone was holding Suzanne and asked Jeff to come to Colorado to cut the guy's balls off. The following is a brief summary of the pertinent quotes from the recordings of Barry and Holly. November 5th, 2020. So right in front of her husband, what do you guys think about that? It's like, what? No way. He's just gross, guys. And he has no respect for anybody. So November 5th, 2020, when Barry was asked if he had thoughts of what happened to Suzanne, he responded that he had two ideas. Barry stated one, somebody took her right there where the bike was at and just threw her in a car and got in willingly, or she got in willingly. Whatever. and ran off. Barry added, or someone chased her and she's in the river. And she's still in the river right now, today, somewhere in a log jam. What the hell? Oh my God. It does. It reads like a Jackie Collins novel. Oh my word. Barry said he did not see anything else, adding the FBI was telling him that she left on her own. They were trying to tell me that she left. Barry said she did not leave. He knew she would not do that. Holly asked Barry if this guy was able to go through the list of people who Suzanne was Facebook friends requesting. Yeah, like, wasn't that weird too? He replied he had not spoken to him about it. Holly wondered out loud if someone else hacked into Suzanne's Facebook. Holly said it was unlike Suzanne to send out a lot of requests, asserting, if I had to bet, I'd say it wasn't her. Barry said, yeah, she wasn't like that. Which is really strange, being he was the only one in the house. Barry was asked about the things he said to Suzanne. He replied, I don't even know. It was just a normal night. We just ate dinner together and just had a quiet evening like we, and they're not sure what he was saying, do. Holly's spouse asked Barry what someone would do with Suzanne if that person took her. Barry responded that the person would keep her in a basement. Holly challenged Barry that someone would hold on to her for 6 months. Barry said, and if that's the case, then she's underwater. What the hell? He added, because there's no evidence of anything else that's surfaced. He's pretty cocky, isn't he? So December 5th, 2020, Holly talked to Barry on FaceTime, and he said, I've been talking to detectives and the FBI guy regularly now. He added, they seem to be on my side finally and helping me kind of feel better about things because of what they're telling me. Barry thinks they have Suzanne's phone. He said they found it by the bike, or they found it on the search, or they found it in the house. They won't tell me. They won't even tell me they have it, but I'm pretty sure they have her phone. Barry said, my guy knows I had nothing to do with it. He's already said he's proven that with his investigation. Holly asked what the private investigator is waiting for then in talking to the detectives. Barry replied, I think because they've been on different pages for so long. And he told me that everybody's told me this, that 80% of the time it's the spouse. He's very sure of himself, Mal. You're right. Barry asserted the FBI told him they never give the house and cars back, and yet they gave Barry his house and cars. Barry said he told them, I think I know why you did, because you found no evidence. Because there is no evidence, it doesn't exist. December 17th, 2020, in downtown Salida, Colorado. Barry, I don't know if what she was doing, putting in her body. Oh my, here we go. Putting in her body behind my back, but I did all this work or hunt, and she had idle time. Idle hands are the devil's tools. She had 21 years of doing absolutely nothing but being mom. Absolutely nothing but being mom? Holy hate, buddy. Because, that's probably the easiest job out there. Oh my God, this guy. You just want to smoke him. Oh my God. Yeah, I just don't like this man, guys. I'm trying. Well, I'm not trying to like him. I'm trying to find something, I don't know, something about him that is not nasty. But I'm not finding it. So Barry said, "Let's go. I can't hear it." He stood up immediately and walked out of the restaurant. Holly later said that Suzanne going to Al-Anon helped her detach from Barry. Barry said, "Let's go. I can't hear it." There we go. He stood up immediately and walked out of the restaurant. Holly said that Barry could never describe what his last image of Susan was to her. Barry, well, I'll tell you right now. Oh, Barry is saying this. Well, I'll tell you right now, we had sex that night, and she was undressed when I went to sleep. So she obviously got up, put on pajamas, and when I left in the TH, the next morning, she was laying right there on the bed. I didn't pull up the covers and look at what she was wearing, if that's what you're asking me. And it upsets me that women have to have their little secrets behind their husband's back when I'm her best friend. And it pisses me off. It pees me off that my wife went behind my back and said that crap about me. He continued, "That's the problem with women. They get their little things going between each other and they have no respect for their husbands." Barry later said, "Well, she said I cheated on her." Holly confirmed Suzanne told her the same. Barry said, "But I didn't." Yeah. Sorry, I don't believe this guy could be faithful if there was like a man and a woman and him in a room. He would just bounce back and forth and not, yeah, this guy's gross. Barry said, "What you guys had in your little private conversation has nothing to do with the situation that we're in, unless she left on her own. And if that's the case, then I'm sure she'll surface someday for her daughters." Wow. But I don't believe that's the case. I believe that her disappearance was out of anyone's hands but God's. And God allowed that to happen for some reason, and we might never know until we get to heaven. This guy. Wow. Like, I want to, like, eat soap just even repeating the crap that this man has said. Oh my goodness. Look up Japanese spider crab. I'm not doing it. Nope, nope, nope. I do also. The children end up losing everything. I feel sorry for her girls. Her body is going to tell us everything we need to know. I sure hope so, Dandy. I really hope so. Being a mom is the hard-ish when you're raising wholesale people. He's such an AS. Hole, hole. I want to reach out and pop him in that nasty mean mouth. My goodness, he's a trigger for me, lol. That's the thing. Ditto, right? No doubt. That's why you can probably hear like my voice. I'm getting higher and higher and crankier and crankier. I've met too many people just like this. Yeah, just try being a mom. Try possibly to keep her family together. Exactly. Can't find anything good about this guy from page 1 and 3 years ago. Exactly. Yes. I tell my daughter it's the most important job she could ever have in this world. No other job on this planet. It is. It is. It is the hardest job because we want to create healthy-minded people and healthy people. But I guess if you're just someone like Barry who comes and goes when he wants, well, there you go. Yeah, I agree with you. Should have left him hours into their wedding night. He's a guy that looks in a mirror and says, "Wow, I could date you." Well said. Well said. Oh my goodness. So Barry later said, and I was afraid of that, talking to the FBI And when we talked about the situation, they later said she could have left on her own. I said the only reason she would do that, would leave, is because she wouldn't have me around her about her problems. The only reason that she would leave is because she wouldn't have me hounding her about her problems. And she's free to drink, free to use substances and do all that. Because that really looks like that's the kind of person. Everything I've read says, yeah, horrible, horrible. Or not. Man. Barry's interview with FBI 2021. This section includes summaries of audio and video recordings, interviews by the FBI of Barry after he was informed of Susan's affair. January 27th, 2021. In this interview, Barry stated numerous times he had no idea of the affair, and he asked multiple times to know who the other man was. He initially guessed he lived in Arizona, where he was telling Suzanne he wanted to go on Friday, May 8th, and said that maybe Suzanne's disappearance was a form of God's judgment for the affair. Oh my God. Now, oh my God. Oh. Whoa, you guys. Yeah, he just brings all sorts of anger out of little Franky here. Exactly, Dandy. Might need a friendly stick here in a second. I don't for a second believe she used substances. Her skin tells a different story. Those pics are not filtered. Well said. And I have a funny feeling, I mean, he would bitch about CBD. This guy is just like rotten. I'm starting to like grind my teeth. Yeah, he's a trigger. That's exactly what he is, Tracy. That's exactly what he is. Hoofda. Wow. I'm taking a deep breath because I have to continue reading this. Bullshit. Oops, sorry, YouTube, sorry. Okay. Oh. Okay, S.A. Grusing and S.A. Harris met with Barry at his condo in Poncha Springs, Colorado, to inform him of the affair. Upon meeting Barry as he was walking behind his house and telling him agents needed to speak with him privately, he said, "Okay, I'm working right now. Can I get your number?" He eventually agreed to speak with the agents. After being informed Suzanne had an affair, Barry asked who the person was and how long the affair had been going on. He then said, "This is a complete surprise to me. I had no idea of this and never would have suspected her of doing this, except for the fact that this guy ran around telling everybody that this is what she was doing, even when she wasn't." He later said, "Because I've never seen it on her phone. How was she?" S.A. Grusing asked Barry if he remembered her handing him her phone in Mexico, and he was trying to see who she was talking to. Barry said, "Yeah, but wasn't in her phone. Snapchat." Barry said, "I can assure you I had no idea there was another man." Barry said, "I had no idea they were communicating. And if you are trying to tell me that I found out about this and did something that's completely wrong." S.A. Grusing said that Suzanne's and her boyfriend communication stopped Saturday afternoon. Just boom, they were cut off. Remember, guys? So let's see here. Barry said, "While I was with Suzanne, I came home to have lunch, went into town to get the blade on my bobcat fixed, and I had a wrong timeline on that. So if she was talking to this individual, it had to be when I came into Salida. Hang on, guys, here for 2 seconds. Let's see here. I think you're probably right there, Mel. I think you're probably right. She was in treatment in Colorado and doesn't like CBD. He's yeah, just amazing, this guy. So S.A. Harris told Barry that Suzanne was communicating with the individual on some occasions while Barry was in the house. Barry asked, "Where's this guy from? Arizona?" S.A. Grusing told Barry hundreds of communications exist between Suzanne and this person, especially on Saturday before Barry came back home just before 3 o'clock. Barry asked, "Can you tell me how many months it's been going on?" S.A. Grusing said Barry could probably answer that himself. Barry said, "Well, I can't answer that based on the way she treated me because she didn't treat me like she wanted to leave me, except telling you that she wanted to go and wanted you to go, and she wanted this to be done civil, and she didn't care about you anymore, except for all of that." S.A. Grusing told Barry about the recording pen and the conversations when Barry asked Suzanne to tell him if she loved him, and she could not answer that she loved him. Barry was asked if he remembered that. Barry was shaking his head side to side. "No," as he replied, "Yeah, I remember." Barry began to cry audibly. He looks like a bug. Barry stated she's always been insecure because she didn't have a father. He left, was a drunk. When we were dating, insecure that I'm cheating, I'm having an affair. When we were married, and I got a secretary, that I'm having an affair with her. You can go back through my entire life. I've never even touched, let alone talked or text to another woman besides my wife. You'll never find that. Great. Barry stated she's always been insecure because she didn't have that father. Barry asked to guess who Suzanne's boyfriend was, and he said it's either David Huff or Kevin Stout. Am I right? Agents did not confirm, and Barry began to talk about Suzanne possibly being in the river. S.A. Grusing asked, "The river from from an accident or an abduction?" Barry said, "Either one. I don't think the way I see it, it was an accident that she ran from somebody to the river." Oh my God, this man. So now she's running to get away from him and has ended up in the river, or she's running away from, these people that took her. Mm. And then he says, if she got into that river and hit a rock with her head from that could have been a possibility. Or they could have grabbed her at the river and took her up. Barry was asking if he found out something about Suzanne on Saturday or if someone else was involved. Barry shook his head and said, "There's nothing that I found out Saturday about her having an affair. Nothing." S.A. Grusing asked if he found out Friday or Saturday that she was having an affair. Oh my goodness. Nothing. S.A. Grusing asked if he found out Friday or Saturday if she was having an affair. Barry said, I told you. I've already told you this. This is the first day I found out that she had an affair. You researched the lady. She's an angel. She's a saint. This just blows my mind. And it's going to blow anybody's mind to find this out. He added, as soon as they find out, they're going to say, old hothead Barry found out and deleted his wife. So he does have the reputation, doesn't he? Not being the best human out there. S.A. Grusing told Barry about the May 6th text, wherein Susan said, I'm done. Let's just handle this civilly. Barry was working, and his responses were that life was not worth living and going to meet my Savior, and life is a mere grain of sand compared to eternity. Barry said, yeah, and I was just trying to hurt her. That's all I was doing. I would never have hurt myself with my daughters. S.A. Grusing told Barry that investigators noted Suzanne did not tell Barry not to do it. Barry said, I know. Well, it makes perfect sense now. Why? Back then it didn't to me. I would want her to say, no, don't hurt yourself, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it didn't come. Barry said, I appreciate it, but I want you to know I've been a Christian my whole entire life. I accepted the Lord. I love the Lord. And he knows why this happened, and I got to trust him. I have to trust that he did this for a reason. This guy. Brutal. He added, I'm telling you, I had no idea of this until today. But looking at everything right now, things are making a little bit more sense to me from God's point of view, because I would never understand why God could take away my wife after I fought 2 battles of cancer with her. What? After I fought 2 battles of cancer with her. Oh, I bet that was a battle for him. Had 2 miracle babies that we shouldn't have had, and a wonderful life together. Barry continued, I can promise you that I knew none of this until today. I just can't believe, no wonder the cops are all suspicious about this guy. He's got his reputation, which is not good. And he just is like a blowhard. Barry said she never talked Saturday to me about leaving. I mean, did you find communication between her and I Saturday about that? Because to me, Saturday was a good day. We had a good evening together Saturday. Friday, we had an argument on the phone. Friday, I'm sure you've seen that. S.A. Grusing told Barry that for some reason, it seems he's placing Wednesday as Friday. Barry said, oh. S.A. Grusing reminded Barry that it was Wednesday when Suzanne said she was done. Barry said, okay. Then that was Wednesday, not Friday. Friday, she would go through these times where we would fight like that, and then everything would go back to normal. And it was like nothing ever happened. Then we'd go eat dinner, we'd go have home, we'd go have home. Would have sex, everything would be fine. For him, S.A. Grusing told Barry that investigators have a fuller picture of his actions in Broomfield. Barry said, I told Joe and Derek everything. And Joe's like, well, why are you going to 5 different trash cans and throwing all this crap away? And I said, I've done that my entire life. My truck is a mess. I go. I throw things away here and there because I'm a tightwad and I don't want to pay for cash for trash pickup. Or so, oh, good Lord. Or this or that, or I had time. That day I was going to have more time, spend more time on that wall that day. But when I got to it and realized my workers were going to come and I could just have them do this stuff and I had time on my hands. S.A. Grusing asked Barry about coming home on Saturday after errands and whether he remembered where Suzanne was when he got home. Barry said no. S.A. Grusing asked if he could have been out on the deck. Barry said, I don't remember, shaking his head side to side before answering. I do not recall where she was when I got home. I don't even remember going to town and doing that. S.A. Grusing told Barry that investigators have some images to show him. Barry said of that day that she sent to this guy. S.A. Grusing confirmed and said that it might be the last time outside of Barry that she was seen by someone else alive. Barry said, I'm telling you right now, there was nothing out of the normal Saturday afternoon. Nothing. It's almost like that evening, nothing ever happened to us that week. She's like one person one day and another person the next day. And when she acts like that, I'm going to accept it and take it all in because when she's distant and cold, I don't get any affection. And Saturday, there was no problems, none. And I don't understand that you're telling me that she's communicated with this guy Saturday all day. I'm working till noon, come home, eat lunch with her, leave again, come home, spend the evening with her, eat supper, have sex. I can assure you that Saturday night was a good night for us. And I can assure you that we had sex that night. There's no way that she wouldn't have gone. She would have done that to me if she's got this head on about this other guy. S.A. Grusing said Suzanne was disclosing things about their love life to the other guy. Barry said, well, I'm sure if she's not disclosing things or having sex with her boyfriend, Barry made air quotes with his hands while saying this, because that would upset him. So she's probably, lying to him if she's saying that we're not having sex because we do and we did. And I can assure you that that night we did 100%. In February, when I went to meet her in Florida, that's all it was sex. I mean, why would she do that to me if she's got this other guy that she's leaving me for? None of this is making sense. S.A. Grusing asked what does not make sense to Barry, adding that Barry said earlier things were making sense. Barry said, making sense in God's eyes. Why someone like me, someone like us, well, now that you've told me she was having an affair, maybe I don't know. Maybe in God's eyes, this was his way of resolving something. I don't know. Oh my God, this guy just needs to be like loved up with the side of a baseball bat. Oh, personal opinion. Barry stated that just why I said it makes sense to me, with God's relationship. None of this. I'm telling you that there's nothing that I knew about. I know I had texts where I said, yeah, you're having an affair. You're having a boyfriend. I just did that to reciprocate what she was saying to me. S.A. Grusing said that Suzanne had on her notes on her phone that Barry accused her of having a boyfriend on May 6th, which is the same day she texted that she would just do this civilly. S.A. Grusing asked Barry if he remembered that. Barry said, yeah, I remember that, but I wasn't. I didn't mean it. I was just saying it to get to her, to try to get to her. Barry talked about striking Suzanne once when he clipped her nose, but that was the only time he was physically abusive. S.A. Grusing said that in doing victimology work on Suzanne, investigators know that was not the only time she came at Barry, and that when Suzanne got frustrated, she would physically come at Barry. Barry said, "She physically came at me several times through my life, and I took it. And I'm a man, and I'm tough, and I can take it. Gotta lie about the scratch marks in front of people when they're on my face. But that is the only time I ever touched her, and I swear to God, I would never lay a hand on my wife, and that was just a crazy reflex." S.A. Harris asked Barry what he meant when he said that might be God's way of resolving things. Good question. Barry said, "I tell you what, I've had a very hard time understanding why God did this, and he allowed it. If you don't know what you know that he allows bad things to happen. But all that we've been through, all that we are, I couldn't understand it. And maybe we'll never understand it until we get to heaven. But if I would have known this in the beginning, I wouldn't had to because of her affair. But it makes more sense than when I knew before you guys came today." Barry said he wanted the news of the affair to be kept between the agents and him, adding, "And if we all keep this private between us forever, that's all I ever want." January 28th, 2021. In this interview, Barry suggests that Suzanne ran away. Discussed with agents her numerous trips to meet her boyfriend, was told by agents that her boyfriend thought the affair led to her passing, and was told that no body cases could be proven. Sure can. Now, I'm not even sure. We'll see. Again, all these pictures we did go through in the first video. This is the, oh my goodness. All of the exhibits. I drew a blank. Go figure. S.A. Harris and S.A. Grusing attempted to contact Barry Morphew in a construction area behind his temporary residence in Ponca Springs, Colorado. He spoke with agents by cell phone as he walked back and forth in front of the car about 50 yards away from the vehicle, though agents said they needed to meet with him. Some of the conversation included. So yeah, we went through all of the evidence. I think there was 92 exhibits. After thinking about what he learned yesterday, Barry suggested that Suzanne ran away. He said, "Can you answer that? Can you answer? Could she possibly have staged her bike, got into a car with somebody? I know that they did research on all the vehicles that were in that area. And I mean, did this clear that up? Do you know? Possibly, because she's not a dumb person. She's pretty stinking smart. And if she's thinking of just taking off, that's something that she would think about. I know her, and that's a possibility that she did that. Question marks, question marks. S.A. Grusing told Barry that Suzanne sent her boyfriend photos of herself serving as her last proof of life. Barry stated, "Well, let me tell you this and see if you can shed some light on this. I told you that in the past year, not the past year, but before that happened, the past year, she had taken 7 trips by herself. Are you guys aware of those?" S.A. Grusing confirmed, and Barry replied, "And one of them was to Louisiana. Are you aware of that one?" S.A. Grusing confirmed, and Barry replied, "And was this individual that she was having an affair with at that location with her?" S.A. Grusing asked Barry his thoughts and why he brought up Louisiana. Barry stated because it would just when it happened and she said she was going there, it didn't make any sense at all. She's like, I've always wanted to go, blah, blah, blah. And she was going through cancer. I was trying to make her happy, wanted to give her whatever she wanted. But when I questioned her, it didn't make sense to me why she would want to go there. Barry asked, so then that means you guys have evidence that she's not. S.A. Grusing stated FBI uses methods to determine if someone is alive or not. Barry asked, in your system of this investigation, these things that, or physical evidence, oh, good Lord, in your system of investigations, these things that, or physical evidence. Okay. S.A. Grusing concurred. There was little physical evidence, and he told Barry that recently some nobody homicide cases have used the no body homicide cases have used the FBI to prove someone is not alive. Barry responded, that's very interesting. Barry asked, was when you approached him, the boyfriend, what was his demeanor? Grusing said he was shocked and very contrite. S.A. Harris confirmed he was shell-shocked and contrite, adding the man feels bad about it. Barry asked, feels bad? He feels bad about the affair. S.A. Grusing said he wonders if the affair caused her to disappear and caused her passing. S.A. Grusing added Suzanne's boyfriend said, maybe it was my fault. Maybe my relationship with Suzanne caused her to be deleted. Barry was silent for a few seconds. Barry stated, see, now you guys are talking. You're talking in a way that it really bothers me. S.A. Grusing asked why. Barry said, because I have no evidence of my wife being deceased, and that you guys are absolutely certain of it. And that's very troubling to me. S.A. Grusing said that Saturday, Barry thought he okay, give me 2 seconds, friends. Hydration. Give me 2 seconds and we'll continue here. Okay, guys. I got another liquid. Get a little comfy on the chair again, and we'll continue. Oh, how is everybody doing there? Everybody doing good in chat? Everyone's having a good, well, what would you say? You liking what you're learning? Let's put it that way. Exactly. He suggested a godly man like himself wouldn't do anything like that. This guy's evil AF. So before I carry on, don't forget to hit that thumb, help push us into that algorithm. And if you are enjoying the content, don't forget to subscribe. You have met probably the best chat out there. Honestly, great, great people. Okay, let's do this. Oh, where did we leave off? S.A. Grushing said that yesterday. Very troubling to me. I just want to get back. S.A. Grusing said that yesterday Barry said he'd have thought she was underwater under the beaver dam, and S.A. Grusing does not think she would have survived down there. I know, but I don't know that for a fact. I said that's my thought. After 9 months of nothing from anybody that would seem to make sense, there's no evidence, but I don't know that for fact. Barry later said, "Let me ask you a question. You guys have bugged my phone. You've heard every conversation that I've had since May 10th. If there was one thing that I said, I mean, you've done this for 25 years. There's no conversation that I've had with anybody that would make you guys look at me as a suspect." S.A. Grusing reminded Barry of the problems he cited earlier about the CBI, adding that Barry's statements do not make sense with some of the evidence. S.A. Grusing told Barry the FBI was not after him, but just trying to find Suzanne. Barry stated, "Okay, well, I'm at my meeting. I got to get back to work." Oh, my word. Barry stated, "Okay, well, I'm at a meeting. I got to get back to work." Are we shocked? No. February 28th, 2021. In this interview, Barry again asked for the boyfriend's name, gave his code for knowing when people tell lies, discussed his activities on Saturday, May 9th, and significantly changed his earlier accounts to match evidence provided to him, putting a gun in his hand the afternoon when Suzanne was last known to be alive. At 1:14 p.m., S.A. Grusing greeted Barry, and Barry's reply, "Hi, guys." S.A. Grusing told Barry that agents needed time to share information with him. Barry stated, "I got a meeting here in about 10 minutes. I was going to head but how long will it take?" Oh, he's really, really concerned about his bride, isn't he? Oh my goodness. Arrogant little piece of shite. Mm. I talk a lot, but I thought I could do this like piece of cake. Talk for a couple hours straight while I'm sure learning myself. I don't know how those other girls, man, sometimes hours. Like, there's that one content creator. I don't know if she's still around, but she was doing during the Kylie Rodney case something like 14 hours, 13 hours. She was cross-eyed by the end of it. I can't figure out how those young, maybe it's the age. It could be that. They're probably in their 20s. Yeah, he might as well say he's glad she's gone. S.A. Grusing told Barry he has first right of refusal to the information. He asked, "Is this about her and the guy?" S.A. Grusing said agents would like to discuss the affair, the technology, and other aspects, and that Barry can clear this up. After a few minutes, Barry asked, "Are you able to give me the name of the gentleman?" Holy crap, this guy. S.A. Grusing said agents could share more information with Barry, then asked him what giving him the name of the man would do for him. Barry answered, "It's just for peace of mind. If it was a friend or an acquaintance, just peace of mind. Wouldn't you want to know if it was your wife?" S.A. Grusing said he did not know how he would respond. Barry added, "Yeah, I mean, just to know that wasn't a friend at least." Grusing confirmed the man was not Barry's friend. S.A. Grusing responded, "The evidence points towards her not being alive with the facts collected to date, not to determine who was guilty." Barry said, and I'm not guilty. There's no doubt that I'm not guilty. I'm just telling you that from what Joe and Derek did to me. I mean, Jim Comley's a liar. And I mean, do you think he's a liar? Ay, ay, ay. S.A. Grusing said he did not know if Comley was a liar. And Barry interrupted, "That's ridiculous. How could you not know if he's a liar from what he said on the stand in front of the Senate?" S.A. Grusing asked what he said. Barry stated, "Well, I don't know exactly what he said word for word, but that he asked him questions and said, 'I don't recall.' Just like Hillary Clinton." All them freaking liberals don't recall anything when they don't want to tell the truth. No, you know much about that, don't you, Barry? S.A. Grusing told Barry that agents brought a notebook with evidence they would like to share with him. Barry replied, "Could you answer me some questions first? Was she with him in New Orleans?" S.A. Grusing said, "She was." Barry asked, "Was she with him in Florida?" S.A. Grusing says, "She was." After a pause, Barry asked, "Indiana?" S.A. Grusing says, "She was." Barry asked, "And how long has this been going on?" S.A. Grusing said, 2 years. Barry asked, 2 years? S.A. Grusing said it started shortly after they moved to Colorado. Barry asked, "And you can't tell me where they connected the first time?" S.A. Harris said they connected through social media, and Barry repeated social media. Barry said, "And that app you said they were using to communicate, there's no way that I could have known about that. What was that called again?" S.A. Grusing and agents did not want to give that to Barry, and he replied, "I'm not going to go hunt." S.A. Grusing told Barry he was a hunter. Barry said, "I know, but I need this for I've So who? I just mean, tell me who the guy is. I don't know why you can't just answer that. I'm not gonna go do anything to this guy. I can't afford to leave the only daughter, the one parent that my daughter has. If I go beat some guy up and go to jail, I can't afford that. Would I want to? Yeah. Would you? Yeah. Somebody screwing your wife for 2 years behind your back? That's just cold-blooded. I would never do that to a guy. But I'm not gonna do that. But it's just for me, my peace of mind. I'd just like to know who it is. And do you believe me when I say I had no idea this was ever happening?" S.A. Grusing said some of the evidence items that agents brought to show Barry would help prove he did not know. Barry said, "Well, I didn't know. I'm telling you right now. I mean, she was the last person in the world I would expect would do this. But for her to pull this off blows me away." Barry stated, "Did she leave that night?" because I told Joe and Derek we had sex and went to bed, and I went to sleep. And I worked so hard. And when I go to sleep, I'm out until 3 o'clock. S.A. Grusing asked about the hike to Foose's Lake, if that happened. Barry said, well, I was confused on the hike too. I thought it was Saturday, but after talking to Joe and them, it could have been Friday, it could have been Thursday. I remember us doing that, and I thought it was Saturday. S.A. Grusing asked if Barry came home Saturday and went for a hike or a bike ride. Barry said, when I came home, we did lunch. S.A. Grusing asked if that was the veggie soup. And Barry replied, yeah, lunch. S.A. Grusing asked if they hiked after the lunch. Barry said, I don't recall. It's okay. It's okay, Lizzie. So S.A. Harris confirmed Barry text crib that he was at the house and needed a few minutes. Barry said, okay, yeah, and I don't know why. I've got a great memory. I don't know why I don't recall that. S.A. Grusing said Barry called Tim backhoe, and Barry said backhoe attachment for the Bobcat. And I looked at that. I don't know if it was that day or what. S.A. Grusing told Barry he drove to where the backhoe attachment was, and Barry interjected. Looked at it. Barry said, well, I didn't like it. I looked at it and I didn't like it. Yeah, I called him and told him I wasn't interested. Barry eventually said he wasn't interested because of the price. S.A. Grusing explained that Suzanne took her last proof of life picture while Barry was out on his errand, but it was not apparent where she was. Barry said, oh, she had to be at the house because... S.A. Grusing said Suzanne's location at the house was unclear and asked Barry if he would look at the picture. Barry said, yeah, and like I said, I'm running really late. I don't have an hour, but let me look at this. He added, and I wouldn't really like for guys, since I'm being cooperative, trying to help you, that you would give me the name of this guy. That's all I want for peace of mind. S.A. Grusing told he had not been cleared yet, and Suzanne's passing cited the evidence in the affair and the other collected evidence, and some of the evidence is contrary to his statements. Yeah, but it can't contradict my statements. There's just no way. I told Joe word for word, place for place, everywhere I was. S.A. Grusing asked Barry about his first statement of setting his alarm for 4:30 in the morning. Barry stated, I don't remember setting the alarm. I might have told him that. S.A. Grusing confirmed he told him that. Barry said, but not my phone alarm, the clock alarm. But I set the thing so many times. I mean, maybe I didn't remember, but I know I wanted to go and get going early. And sometimes when I know I got to get up early, I set the alarm. S.A. Grusing told Barry the FBI knew he was moving well before 4:30. Barry said, I get up. I got an enlarged prostate. Okay. I get up and pee all night through. All through the night. Okay. S.A. Grusing interrupted. I'm grateful. And told Barry he was outside in his driveway. Barry said, well, if I did anything outside, it wasn't anything wrong. S.A. Grusing explained Barry's statements do not matter compared to the importance of seeing of him seeing the evidence. Barry replied, "It doesn't matter. Your evidence does not matter because it's, if anything, to do with tying me up with her disappearance. It's wrong." S.A. Grusing said the agents are in the auditor role, not determiners of guilt. Barry interrupted, "But Johnny, there is nothing on my phone that shows that I knew about her affair. So I think I know where you guys are trying to do. You're trying to say if I knew about that, then I did something." S.A. Grusing later told Barry that Suzanne told uh, uh, um, Jeannie, my goodness, Ritter, not to come over to have coffee that week. Barry said, "See, this is all pointing to her leaving. All of it is. If she's in Mexico somewhere and she's freaked out or something went wrong, how do we know that?" Barry said he had to go to work, but agreed to see the photo of Suzanne's last proof of life. Barry looked at the photo and said, "Well, look at her. She's obviously drunk. Look at her eyes. Do you know what drunk eyes look like?" he added. "I mean, would you say those eyes are drunk eyes?" S.A. Grusing said bloodshot eyes are what he looks for. Barry said, "No, it's the lazy eyes. It's what I see in her." And she drank. S.A. Grusing asked Barry if she was wearing that swimsuit when he came home. He said, she was laying out. When S.A. Grusing confirmed, Barry said, yep. S.A. Grusing asked if this arrival at home was after the blade change with Kribari. Barry said, "No, that's from going home after I got finished with Morgan for lunch. She was laying out and we ate lunch." S.A. Grusing said the photo was taken later that day, and he replied, "Then she must have went back out when I left." S.A. Grusing asked Barry if Suzanne was still laying out the second time he came back. Barry shook his head and said, "I don't recall." After that, he said, "I don't recall." S.A. Grusing told Barry that when he arrived, yipes. So S.A. Grusing told Barry that when he arrived that afternoon, his phone went around the house quite a bit. Barry was nodding. "Oh, here we go, guys. Here we go." Barry was nodding his head, saying, "Mm-hmm." S.A. Grusing asking, "Were you looking for her?" Barry said, I shoot chipmunks." S.A. Grusing said, "You shoot chipmunks?" Barry said, "Yeah." S.A. said, "It looks like he was chasing one." Barry said, "Yeah, I've shot 85 chipmunks because they've got into my furnace and cost me a bunch of money. So when I'm home," S.A. Grusing interrupted and asked if it was a 22, and Barry replied, 22. "So when I'm home, I just walk around and shoot them." Just keep going around the house. Barry made circular motions with his right arm, saying, "Every time I go around the house, I'll see another and I'll shoot it." Oh my word. S.A. Grusing told Barry the activity would explain his behavior on the phone, adding that he left the driver's side door open in the garage before he went to the first patio. Perry said, "Mm-hmm." Barry said, did I say Perry? Sorry, Perry. "Yeah, shooting." While nodding his head during the description of the movement, he added, "No, I'm shooting chipmunks. I've done that ever since we've moved in." S.A. Grusing asked Barry if he remembered doing it that day. He nodded his head and said, "Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah." So Grusing asked Barry what happened next. He shook his head and said, I don't recall. S.A. Grusing asked him about the hike happening then. Barry stated, it could have been very. I know there was one in the 2 or 3 day period when we went to Foose's, but I don't know. I can't tell you exactly when it was. I can't recall. Where's your sister? Okay. Holy smokes. S.A. Grusing showed Barry a photo he sent to Suzanne to that's photo sent by Suzanne to Libler in the morning of May 9th, 2020, with a series of texts discussing Barry's desire to move to Arizona. When S.A. Grusing asked if that was her closet, Barry said, yep. The text discussed pizza from the night before, and Barry said, yeah. When the text he's still wanting Arizona was read, Barry asked, who's he? Me? S.A. Grusing confirmed. Barry asked, why is she talking to this guy about me and my life? S.A. Grusing reminded Barry of him asking agents about Susan being in Arizona, if he was suspicious about Susan's guy being in Arizona at that point. Barry asked, is this guy from Arizona? S.A. Grusing answered he was not. Barry asked, can you tell me what state he's from? S.A. Grusing said he was from Barry's home state. And Barry repeated, Indiana, from my hometown? Grusing said he could not tell Barry that. S.A. Harris said if anything happened to the guy, agents would be placing Barry in a bad place. Barry interrupted. If I understand that, I understand, and nobody knows but you guys. Not Chafee, CBI. Barry was shown a picture of the locations around the Morphew house of Suzanne's phone activity, and at 4:10 a.m., 4:15 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. He said, well, if she did that, I have no idea that it went anywhere but the house. But if you was to ask me, I'd say it was in the house the whole time. Suzanne's phone activity at 4:10. S.A. Grusing told Barry the agents wanted to complete this with him this evening. He asked, is it going to be done? When told it would be done, Barry asked, done? S.A. Grusing told Barry if he sat down with agents and went through the binder, agents would be done talking to him. Barry asked, but what if I tell you something wrong that was different with Joe and Derek? S.A. Grusing said, okay, S.A. Grusing and S.A. Harris explained that Barry was helpful today and that other interviews would be the same. He said, I mean, these things are just, they're not relevant. S.A. Grusing said, agents have a lot of data and Barry is the only one who knows. He said, all right, I'll call you when I get finished. And he walked away. He's got really bad hair. So February 29th, 2021, while S.A. Grusing and S.A. Harris were parked about 1 block away from Barry's condo, Barry drove his truck beside the agent's car at about 5:03 p.m. and handed a weathered .22 caliber altered rifle with a newly mounted rifle scope to agents. Barry said that's the gun he used to shoot the chipmunks. He had to leave work. Shoot the chipmunks, and he had to leave to work out at the gym. Like, he's really worried about his wife. Like, it just floors me. Like, he had to have been totally in love with this woman because he is so heartsick that he can't find her. This guy's just a POS. And only 61 more pages of his BS. He's Dr. Doolittle's Zever brother, do a lot. Oh, Lord. Unreal. This guy is just he's just bad. He's just he's a horrible human. I can't even find one quality about him yet that is even close to admirable. Ooh, a jackalope. Are you talking about jackalopes, Shauna? So, March 1st, 2021. In this interview, Barry again significantly alters his prior statements to adjust to the evidence presented to him. He said he turned left on Highway 50 as he left the house on May 10th to see where the elk were going, which put him in the direction of Susan's helmet. The admission to S.A. Harris was the first time Barry admitted to turn left on Highway 50 away from Broomfield. This accounts for the missing mileage from his return trip home from Broomfield Hotel. Barry's odometer rested 183-mile trip to the hotel that morning, including about 2 miles of deviations, and a 167-mile trip on the same route home for approximately 14 extra miles. S.A. Harris explained to Barry that sometimes questions shed light on things that help investigators know where not to look for Susan as well. S.A. Harris states, there are things about his truck we are wondering, and asked Barry when he left for Broomfield, did he turn right or left on Highway 50? Barry said, yeah, there was a herd of elk in the road, and there was this one bull, and he was a nice bull, and they all went up the gully there where that old washed out road is, and they went up there, and I'm like, oh, I want to see how big this bull is. And I turned down there, and they crossed right in front of me, and then I went down to the Garfield turnaround and then went to Broomfield. S.A. Grusing asked what Garfield is. Barry said it's a little town before the ski town, little ski town. S.A. Grusing asked if it was before Monarch. Barry said, yeah, I turned around right there. S.A. Grusing explained that agents have checked and that hadn't seen Barry or others go past the Monarch camera. Barry said, yeah, I didn't. I turned around there. I turned around. I went the way because I saw the elk. They were in the road right there before I got up to 50. And I let them cross. And there was one good bull in there. And like, man, and I just missed seeing how good he was. You know, I'm a hunter and I just wanted to see him. And I just turned that way to look at him. That's the only thing I went to that's the only thing. And when I went to Broomfield, I told Joe and Derek everything, where I stopped. I had crap blowing out of the truck. I pulled over at one spot, got situated, and went off. Okay. So the bike is here. Their house is over here. So he gets onto that little road. This is like is it a dirt road? I'm almost thinking, or partially paved. But the bike was found. So their house would be right in here, actually. And then their driveway goes down, and then it turns, and her bike was right off the end there. And then the helmet was quite a ways up, like a mile and a half, something like that. Barry's trip to Garfield adds an approximate 5 miles each way to his morning trip. and places Barry and his vehicle in the direction the helmet was discarded, west from the bicycle. March 5th, 2021, part 1. In this interview, Barry asks for immunity, asked not to get thrown in jail, said there was no evidence, demonstrated how he placed his phone on airplane mode, said Suzanne made him a monster, and things just blew up, and further explained the chipmunks and the bull elk stories. Okay. I say the bull-ish stories. You can say bull elk. I say bull-ish. Okay. So at approximately 6:07 a.m., S.A. Grusing and S.A. Harris contacted Barry Morphew at the DSI facility, 7625 West Highway 50, Salida, Colorado. Agents had an appointment with Barry from the previous day to meet at 6 a.m. at his residence. However, Barry left his residence at about 5:40 a.m. and pulled into the DSI lot at approximately 6:05. Barry stated, "Yeah, I had a package up at UPS I had to pick up. They close at 6, and I had to get there at 6 to come back to the gym. I didn't lie to you." S.A. Grusing and agents were working a homicide case and desired to work with Barry and clear him if possible. Barry said that should have been done months ago. S.A. Grusing said the FBI's job is to collect facts, review the warrants, and Barry was the main person to explain the facts. Barry was told his cooperation was voluntary, and if he chose not to help explain the facts in this case, that was his decision. Barry continued, "But everybody's got eyes on me. They say me talking to you. There's people seeing me talk to you right now. There's cameras right now, and it's going to get out." S.A. Grusing told Barry that him talking to the FBI should appear normal to other people and help them calm down. S.A. Grusing told Barry that Barry's explanation of going to Garfield helped explain the missing 7 miles each way from his truck, something Joe did not know in July. Barry talked about how speaking with the CBI was bad for him because what he told them got out into the public. S.I. Grusing told Barry that he considers talking to agents a bad thing. Barry was told that normally happens if a dad is missing a daughter or a husband missing a wife is that they knock on the FBI door all the time. "I want to believe you, want to help find my wife, find out what happened. But the things that you've told me has crushed me. It's crushed me, and I don't know. There's no way you guys can know how I feel. I went 9 months thinking one thing, and then all of a sudden you guys come to me and boom, my whole mindset has changed about this whole thing. I'm crushed. I don't know what I have to do. I don't know what to say. I can't leave my daughter. You guys throw me in jail. I've got a 17-year-old that's on her own. You guys don't want that." Is that him having a little hissy fit while talking to them? So what I'm going to do, guys, is get to the bottom of this section, and then I'm going to stop again, and we'll do this again in the morning. I think we're getting close to, if not past, the 2 hours. So, yeah, I think that's what we'll do. All righty. So, Barry later stated, and I know there's no evidence on me because it doesn't exist. He added, I'm telling you that. Hey, Douglas, good to see you, friend. S.A. Grusing said things exist that are not be explained, and Barry can help with those. Barry said, you told me that if I explained them to you, that you would clear me publicly. S.A. Grusing agreed. But Barry added, because that's what I need, because the whole world is freaking, they've trounced me. S.A. Grusing told Barry that talking to agents is not a bad thing. Barry stated, it's not a bad thing for you. But if something happens and I say something wrong, or I don't recall something that I told Joe this and I told you something else, boom, I'm done. I've lied. S.A. Grusing told Barry that agents would tell him when his encounters to Joe differ from current statements. Barry said, when I talked to Joe, I was frantic in my mind. I was out of my mind. Even being able to talk to him like I did blows my mind that I was able to do that because I was crushed. And Barry said, and I gave you my gun. That's my chipmunk gun. That's my chipmunk gun. And they didn't take it. S.A. Grusing said the gun did not appear to have been fired in a very long time. Barry said, yeah, it has. He added, I'm just telling you right now that if I was guilty, I wouldn't hand over weapons to you guys. Oh, my word. S.A. Grusing said Barry's movements that afternoon, to include the truck door opening, him running from porch to porch, and Suzanne not answering texts from her boyfriend, took different answer. Oh my good Lord. Not answering texts from her boyfriend looked different from investigators' perspective. Barry stated, they are adorable. I love chipmunks. I explained that you can ask anybody that knows me. I've I've shot 85 chipmunks at my house. That's all I do. I can't sit still. I'm a worker. I'm a busy bee. That's what I was doing that day. S.A. Grusing asked Barry for permission to ask another question about the chipmunk thing, and Barry said, yeah. S.A. Grusing said from 2:44 p.m. to 2:47 p.m., Barry is going to the porches. Barry said, S.A. Grusing said 2:47 p.m., Barry's phone went into airplane mode. S.A. Grusing asked Barry if he placed the phone in airplane mode. Barry asked, I don't. Where was it on me, or was it in the kitchen, or what? S.A. Grusing said the phone movement shows agents that Barry was moving around. Barry said, oh, because it was on me. S.A. Grusing said that in the past, Suzanne tried to track Barry's phone because she thought he was having an affair. And Barry said, S.A. Grusing said Suzanne told her friends and boyfriend about her tracking him. Barry stated, well, she told me, she's tracked me everywhere. When S.A. Grusing said Barry may have been placing his phone in airplane mode to keep it from being tracked, he said, no. I don't recall turning my phone on airplane mode. I do not recall that. S.A. Grusing further explained that Barry's phone went into airplane mode at 2:47 p.m. and came back out at 10:18 p.m., adding that maybe Barry did it by accident. Barry looked at his hand as if he was holding a cell phone and said, yeah, it's the first thing that comes up when you hit settings. And it would, if that happened, it was probably an accident. He added, I do not recall. S.A. Grusing told Barry that his truck doors were opening and closing as it backed into the middle of the driveway. You stop. Barry said I had junk in my trunk. Okay. I've always have junk in my trunk. And I'm always taking some junk out of my trunk, leaving my door open. I mean, I don't know that that's the case, but that's what I did. S.A. Grusing said the truck door, to include passenger, were opened and closing until 9:52 p.m., that Barry must have been loading a lot in his truck. Barry said to go to get ready for Broomsville. Yeah, I was putting everything in my truck for Broomsfield. I was cleaning off my workbench for just because it was a wreck. And I'm sure I was just loading for Broomsfield. S.A. Harris later explained the affair started because Suzanne needed someone to talk to. Barry asked, was it an old boyfriend? At least tell me that. S.A. Gruesome, this poor dude, Grusing, said he was not. Barry asked, they didn't know each other in high school? S.A. Grusing said Suzanne reached out to someone to talk to because Barry was working all the time. And S.A. Harris said Barry was gone from Suzanne for 2 years in Indiana. S.A. Grusing said that for Suzanne's perception, perception was reality. For instance, when Barry put a gun to his HEAD, he was not physically abusing her, but she felt like he was. Barry said, mentally, emotionally, I know. She said that. Barry added, if I did anything in any way, it was emotionally, and I got angry at times. But it was just because she accused me of the things that weren't true, and I had no way to prove it to her. She had no evidence that I ever did anything with another woman, and I haven't. But I should prove that. I mean, you think 32 years, a girlfriend, you should look them in the eyes and just say, honey, I've never done that to you. And they would believe you, but she didn't. And I think she took that mindset with her alcohol and her pills, her depression, her cancer, all of this. I think she made this monster in her head and just blew it up. S.A. Grusing asked Barry about accounting for mileage when he saw the bull elk, whether he climbed or how he turned around. Barry said, no, I just turned around. I didn't go in and turn around. I just backed in and went straight into Broomsfield. Barry said, I had no idea. I should have told that to Joe. And S.A. Grusing interjected and said Joe did not know that back then. Barry said, yeah, but I didn't. I didn't keep it from him. I just didn't come to my head. S.A. Grusing told Barry he could not be a good dad for redacted because of the stress. He replied, and I'm not, and it's killing her. I just want to put it behind. I want to start new. I just don't want to start over. So his wife has not been gone very bloody long when he's doing this. My heart breaks, but I can't live like this. I can't go on like this. S.A. Grusing said agents do not intend to investigate his infidelity, but Barry is the best source of information versus other people who do not know. Barry asked, and what about immunity? Can you give me immunity if I just open my life to you? Immunity? What is he talking about? Immunity? I don't know. What the hell? S.A. Grusing asked, immunity for what? And Barry replied, I think in case somebody falsely convicts me or something. S.A. Grusing said you won't be falsely convicted. Barry was told if something bad happened, agents would argue to the DA that Suzanne had the affair and talked about antagonizing him starting May 5th. Barry asked, she actually set a date. Barry was told it was that week. Barry asked, did she actually say to him that she wanted to leave me and be with him? S.A. Grusing confirmed, and Barry replied, she actually said that. S.A. Grusing said agents couldn't show him the text that she wanted to start a new life with him. Oh, could show him the text. Barry said that he had to get to work and asked agents to check on his rifle scopes and tax paperwork, whether they could be returned to him. Holy, this guy is just like, wow. I can't get over him. I honestly can't, guys. It's just, what the actual hell would ever make someone think that the guy can't even lie straight? Like, it's unreal. It's unreal. Oh, yeah. And then there's that. He could. I mean, an eye for an eye, right? Oh, my God. It's frustrating. It's very, very frustrating that all of this is out there and has been out there for years, because this is the last indictment, right? And they're not able, or don't feel comfortable, at least, doing anything with him. So again, like we were saying before, let's really, really hope that they have more. Let's hope that he is picked up soon. Let's hope that Suzanne being found helps her get the justice. Oh, isn't that the truth? Way too much evidence points out Barry's lies. It just blows me away. You know, page after page after page of nothing but BS, verbal diarrhea coming out of this guy's lips. It's just like, oh my word. So, friends, we've been at this for 2 hours and 42 minutes. And it was the second stream today. So, I am going to say thank you ever so much for being here with me again. I appreciate you. And what do the daughters think? Well, the daughters have stood by Barry. But with that said, I think they may have believed that she was still alive out there somewhere. I think maybe denial. And maybe they're not, but they sure seem to be supporting him. So it's just hard. It's just really hard. They're young, and God knows, you don't want to think that your father would ever do something like this. So, blinded by love? I don't know. I don't know. I've never read anything that says that they believe otherwise, but we'll see if he gets picked up. We'll see what happens. So, next stream, I'll put on, I'll set tomorrow. I'll do an update, and we will do some more of this paperwork. We are on, where are we? We are on page 81 of 131. So we're making it, guys. We're making it. Okay, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate you, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.